We start?
Yeah, Mataji. 1 second, Mataji. Yeah. Hare Krishna everyone, I welcome to Vaishnavi Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji to enlighten us on topic Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 51. Right, Mataji?
Yes.
Please take over, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vinaya. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Bhagavajaya Mudiraye Nashtapranyeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Atavashrake Bhakti Bhavati Vaishnike Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Chu Nandagopakavaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanathaya Nama Pankajamarine Nama Pankajanataya Namaste Pankajamatre Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, reading from text 51 through 60. Text 51. Karmajam buddhi yuktani salam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmukta padam gachanti anamayam. Translation. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back home, back to Godhead. Text 52. Yada te moha kalinam buddhirgati tarishyati tada gantati nirvedam shrotavyasya shrotasya cha. Translation. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Text 53. Shruti viprati yadathāsyati niścala samadha achala buddhis sadayogam avakshati. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Text 54. Arjuna vacha sthita pragyata bhasa samadhi thasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta Kim asita vrajeta kim. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk? Text 55. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prajahati yada kavan Sarvan Partha Manokatan Atmanyevatmana Tushtam Sthita Prajna Tadochyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Text 56. Dukkeshu anudvignamana Sukheshu Vigataspriha Jitaraja Bhayakrodha Siddhavir Munirushyate. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. Text 57. Ya sarvatra niveshna nehas tastat prapya shubha shubham nabhidandati nadve tat. One who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, it is firm fixed in perfect knowledge. Text 58. Yada samharate chayam kurma angani sarvatah indriyani indriyatebhya tasya prajna pratishtita. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Text 59. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyatya param drishtva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Text 16. Yatato hi apikanteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramadhi haranti prashabham mana. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swamini Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swamini Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Vitaya Kripa Padaya Gaura Katha Dhammadaya Nagara Gramataya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastanthya Deshatayine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these few verses from 51 through 16. It's utterly consciousness. Krishna is now moving one step ahead. Krishna is directly here talking about devotional service. And he's directly...
The recording has started.
Is actually topmost in the yoga ladder. So Srila he actually explains that detached work leads to realization and knowledge of the soul. It leads to realized knowledge of the soul. That when one does is actually, when one reaches a level of realization, then that person gradually becomes blessed with knowledge of the Lord, and at that time, surrender comes naturally to such a person. Surrendering to the Supreme Lord becomes very natural when one, is blessed with self-realization. And such a surrender actually frees the person from material world, from the bondage of the material world. And thus, that soul then goes back home, back to God. So this progression, which is, very commonly called as the yoga ladder, starts with Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, all these different yogas, and it culminates in Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga, Srila Prabhupada always, whenever yoga ladder, this particular topic, whenever it was discussed, and whenever Srila Prabhupada talks about it, Srila Prabhupada said that yes, we can take the ladder, going from one step to the other, keep moving upward like that. Or, like, we can choose to take the steps. Or there is also an elevator, which takes us straight to the top. It is capable. Elevator is capable of taking us straight to the top without having to undergo the different steps of the yoga ladder. We don't have to do that. And that is the process of Bhakti Yoga. So to explain this, Srila Prabhupada gave a very beautiful example. He said that a person who doesn't know what is gold, who has not seen gold, how it looks, how, what is the color of gold, he doesn't know anything like that. So he goes and asks a person that, what is gold? Everyone is talking about gold so much. I have not seen gold, nor have I ever, touched gold. How do I know which is gold, which is not? So this person, he says, well, I can show you what is gold. What you do is you take, right here, you can see these steps, go up the steps, and then the door to your right will open. You open that door, and whatever you see in that room, that is gold. That room is filled with gold. So this person, very excitedly, he goes up the stairs, and he opens the door, and he sees that there is very shiny, glittery, gold coins. It is, some are there in the form of pots, some of them are in the form of, coins, some of them are in form of jewelry, but they are all having the same feature, which is glittering in nature. They are, yellowish in color. They are bright, effulgent. So then he sees, oh, this is gold. And then he just gets surprised, and he looks behind. He sees that the door is also made of gold. And then he looks down, he sees that the stairs that he used to climb all the way up to this door, that is also made of gold. So now that he knows, okay, that, yes, when he actually goes to the top, he realizes that that is gold, he realizes that the process of reaching the gold and the gold itself was the same. Similarly, for us, who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, the process of Bhakti Yoga is, once we reach our destination, the destination of Bhakti Yoga is to attain pure love for Krishna. So this pure love for Krishna, when we attain that, is pure, unending, unalloyed, unmotivated, uninterrupted, loving service to Krishna. We attain that state by rendering, unmotivated, unalloyed, uninterrupted devotional service. Of course, in the beginning, when we start, it could be motivated devotional service, it could be alloyed devotional service, and it will definitely be interrupted devotional service. So we will start with this imperfect level of devotional service, but with the hope that in the process, by the association that is around us, that we will be able to reach that stage of unmotivated, uninterrupted, unconditional devotional service. which will be so pleasing to Guru and Krishna. That is the goal. And that is also the process. So Bhakti Yoga is such a beautiful process that we don't really need to follow the different yoga ladders, the different levels of the yoga ladders. We can go straight to Bhakti Yoga through the elevator system, and that elevator system in itself is the process of devotional service. That is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the means, it's the way, and it is the destination. That is the beauty of Bhakti Yoga. Like Srila Prabhupada also gave a much more simpler example. He says that when we have $100 bill, then $1, $5, $10, $20, $50 are all inclusive in that $100 bill. For us, it is not needed to have individual dollar bills if we have $100. So similarly, if we have Bhakti Yoga, then that in itself encompasses all the different yoga processes. So that is what Krishna is trying to say in this particular verses. All of these verses, this is the bottom line. That by engaging in devotional service to Krishna, great sages or devotees free themselves of the results of work in material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries, by going back home back to Godhead. The text 52 says, when your intelligence is passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. You see, Krishna is telling Arjuna very, very clearly that, my dear Arjuna, all this, process of thinking that you had, which you told to me in the first chapter, all the thoughts that you had, all your logic, all your arguments, all of that, it is showing that your intelligence is, encompassed within this dense, dark forest of delusion. Krishna is directly saying to Arjuna's face that, Arjuna, you are not thinking correctly. Your thinking way is completely delusion. So get your intelligence out of this dense forest of delusion. And by following your prescribed duty, like in the process that I tell you, fighting with buddhi, with intelligence, you will be able to actually understand how you can mold your life in such a way that you will render your prescribed duty and still incur no sinful reactions at all. Krishna is teaching Arjuna the technique of akarma. Akarma, Krishna is saying that there are three kinds of karmas. That there's karma, vikarma, and there's akarma. Karma means which gives good results. Vikarma means which gives bad results, negative results, which gives sinful reactions. That is vikarma. And what is akarma? Akarma means which does not give neither sinful reactions nor pious reactions. That give us only Krishna reactions. That means we are giving up the result of our work for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the technique of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to render our actions so that we have no reaction. That is the beauty of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, that we don't have to become, a sannyasi, we don't have to become renounced. That is not the teaching of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu has said, Griha Thako, Guna Thako, Shada Hari Bole Thako. Whether you're in home, whether you're in the forest, wherever, whichever distance may be in, just in all conditions, simply chant the holy name. So similarly, here also Krishna is saying that how we, while being in this material world, how can we render actions in such a way that we do not get any kind of sinful reaction. That is the beauty of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And text 53 is very beautifully saying that when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. See, what happens is the normal, way of life is that the Vedas is what does it taught us. The flowery words of the Vedas. What is the flowery words of the Vedas? That, you do this sacrifice for pleasing that particular demigod, then you get this opulence in your life. You want to be very intelligent, worship Saraswati Devi. You want a good husband, worship Parvati Devi. You want a good wife, worship Shiva. All of these, different incentives are given in the Vedas. That doing some activity that will give very, very beautiful results. But it doesn't always happen like that. And even if it happens, there is always a catch. So that's why Krishna is saying to Arjuna that don't, what you were talking in a chapter, my dear Arjuna, that is all based on the flowery language of the Vedas. You're all just talking based on that only. I'm asking you to rise above it. Go beyond it. Don't get, clustered by the flowery language of the Vedas. Don't let that illusion you. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. So then Arjuna is now asking that, my dear Krishna, in text 54, very, very intelligent question Arjuna is asking. He's saying that, what are the symptoms, my dear Krishna, of one whose consciousness is merged in transcendence? Arjuna is saying, I want to know symptoms. I want to know how does a person who is absorbed in, deep Krishna consciousness, in having a transcendental consciousness, how does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Tell me, how should I identify a person who is having these kind of symptoms? Then just by looking at that person, I will be able to say that this person is transcendental. Very intelligent question. Just like how we recognize a doctor. How do we recognize a doctor? Because the doctor wears a white coat, carries a stethoscope, we say that that's a doctor. And, how do we identify a person who is working in a factory? They have a particular uniform to work around with chemicals. They have certain masks that they have to put on. So like this, we can identify, how do we identify a pilot? They wear that particular uniform. So there is, of course, not just, these are some external symptoms that Arjuna is asking about. No doubt about it. But external is also important. And we will understand later that internal is more important, even more than external appearance. It doesn't matter what externally someone may be doing, but it is more important to see a person by the action that they do. Rather, to see a person, how they react in, challenging circumstances. How are they reacting under such situations? That is how we can really understand that whether this person is transcendental or not. For us to be transcendental, we have to be equipoised. We read before, Sukha Dukhe Same Kritva, that Labha Labha Jaya Jaya, that for Yuthaya Yuchyasva, Neva Prabha. So, Krishna is saying that whether it be in happiness or distress, victory or defeat, such a person is equipoised. So that is how we can understand that whether a person is really transcendental or not. These are some of the symptoms. So what is Krishna saying about the symptoms? Let us try and understand that. But then we need to also understand that what are supposed to be some of the internal pointers. How can we are not Krishna as Paramatma in their heart? That of course a Vaishnava, we also know how to recognize a Vaishnava. They have tilak, Vaishnava tilak on their forehead. They wear, either nice Vaishnava clothing. They are very decent in their approach. They are bright and effulgent. They always have a captivating smile on their face because they are so satisfied in their service to Krishna. These are some of the external symptoms. But what is, the internal symptom that we can really recognize a Vaishnava by? Externally, even there was once a story that, there was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Sri Srila Prabhupada, he actually tells the story. He says that one time what happened was this, we all know that the king of the forest is the lion, right? Lion is the king of the forest. So one time there was this fox. Fox is always called cunning. They are always called cunning fox. As cunning as a fox. That's a saying also, because foxes are very cunning. They actually, what they do is, when the lion or the tiger, they actually run behind their prey and they kill an animal. But this fox, what it does is that by its cunningness, it steals the prey of the lion or the tiger. Very cunning. They're very cunning creatures. So one time this fox came to the outskirts of the forest, and there was a little village there. And in that village, there was the house, right on the side of the forest. One of the houses was that of a laundryman. So this laundryman, he used to get, clothes that he had to wash for almost the entire village. So he had a huge tank of water. So in that tank of water, what he did, he had a couple of tanks of water. So in one of the tanks, he would put this, they used this robin blue, right, to brighten clothes, right? And so they used meal, it said, the blue color, to brighten clothes. So this hungry man, he had put this blue color in one of the tanks to put in his white clothes. All the white clothes he would wash in that, so that it comes out more cleaner and more whiter. So, but this fox, what happened is that he came near the tank and he saw that it was like bluish water. He was very captivated by bluish water. Oh, it looks like so nice, so refreshing. He immediately jumped into that tank of water. When he jumped into the tank of water, and when he came out, he was completely blue in color. The fox became blue color. When he came out, he actually was looking at himself and he's saying, oh my God, this color really, oh no, it took away my, identity. My fox skin is gone. Now I'm this blue fox. So then, he came to the forest, he came back, he was walking back into the forest, very dejected. What happened to my fox skin? I had such nice pale brown color, such nice color I had. Look at now, such an ugly, blue color I am. He was very depressed and he was walking back. Suddenly a squirrel saw this fox. The squirrel saw the fox and said, oh, who is this new creature? Never seen this creature before. That too, this color and this and that. And then the squirrel, hinted to the birds. The birds hinted to the monkey. The monkey said, oh, this looks like it is our new king. This is definitely, he is more powerful than our, lion. The lion king is, nothing compared to this creature. And then all the elephants in the forest, all the other animals in the forest, they started respecting this blue fox as their new king. Even the tiger and the lion came in front of this blue fox and they said, oh wow, this is a unique creature that we've never seen before. So unique, he deserves to be the king of the forest. So then, he was coronated to be the king of the forest, and this fox was so happy. He said, oh wow, why did I not think of doing this before? That I could have become blue before and I could have become the king of the forest much, much more before. And never mind, now at least it's never too late. I am now the king of the forest. He was so happy, so happy. And then suddenly, another group of, the fox, the jackals, they actually started howling. How jackals and foxes, how they howl. So as soon as this other fox and this jackal, he heard that one of these jackals were howling. At that moment, this blue jackal, this blue fox also started howling. Because that is the nature of that particular body, that they are just going to howl. when one wolf or when one, jackal or when one fox, when they howl, the others will also join in. That is how they move around in packs like this. So as soon as this fox howled, immediately everyone was able to understand that, oh, this is our own fox. It's nothing of that sort has happened. So that is what, we should try to avoid. The lesson that we learn from this particular story is that we can, put on the dress of a Vaishnava if internally, if we are not working on our purification, then one day our animal-like nature, which is sometimes so snake-like, snake-like envy rests within us. We have cunningness like a fox that rests within us. We have all of these, dirty habits that are ingrained within us. So unless we can cleanse our hearts from inside, then externally how much ever Vaishnava dress we put on, it is of no use. This nature of ours will definitely come out and it will expose us very badly. So we need to understand that, how long can we go on cheating Krishna? One day or the other, Krishna's, in front of Krishna, our nature will be revealed. In front of the devotees, our nature will be revealed. If we are not sincerely working on, ourselves sincerely for the betterment. So therefore, we must remember this very, very carefully that, yes, external symptoms, like here in text 54, how Arjuna is asking that what are some of the symptoms of one who is transcendental? That how does he sit? What is his language? How does he speak? How does he walk? How does he sit? All these are external symptoms. So we should definitely focus on the external symptoms. There are some internal symptoms, which is how does he speak? Will be only that what is there inside us. What is inside us is what will be able to come out. If we are only, like garbage in, garbage out, we know that philosophy, ego philosophy, that if we put in garbage only will come out. If we put good, then only good will come out. So if we are feeding our consciousness with only spirituality, only with Krishna, then Krishna will only come out. If Shravanam and Kirtanam is about ourselves, is about, what is happening in Hollywood, what is happening in Bollywood, what is happening with all the other woods, if we are thinking of all of that, then only wood will only come out. That is what will come out. But if we are feeding ourselves only with Krishna, and we are feeding ourselves with pastimes of our spiritual masters, we are feeding ourselves with sweet nectarian pastimes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. If we are feeding ourselves only with, sweet nectarian pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna, if we are doing Shravanam and Kirtanam of only that, if we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with our heart and if we are chanting our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then automatically Smaranam will be of that. Automatically, whatever we are hearing, whatever we are putting in, that only come out. So, here Arjuna, although most of the things he is asking about external symptoms, but there are a few internal symptoms which manifest as external that he is talking about also. So in text 55, Krishna is saying that when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. That when we don't have even the desire for self gratification, but when we are only thinking about how to please Krishna, a practical thing for me personally is that for me Krishna seems a little far-fetched. But I really know what pleases my spiritual master, at least the promises that I have given to my spiritual master. That I know that if I fulfill just those promises and those vows that I have given to my spiritual master, that he will be pleased. So if I direct all my activities in just fulfilling the mission of my spiritual master, then automatically I'm stopping to think about myself. I'm only thinking about Guru and Krishna. You see, even when we start thinking that, oh, I am so fallen, oh, I want to be humble, that I is always there. The main point is that we should try to get out of this I consciousness. Try to replace it with Krishna consciousness. It's not I consciousness. It's not about me, myself, I, me and myself. It's not about that. Whether it be in glorifying ourselves or whether it be in glorifying ourselves, being very humble and, all the goodness that we have or about the fallen condition that we are in. It's still about I. So we have to get out of that I consciousness and try to replace it with Guru and Krishna consciousness. Then the mind will become purified and then we will find satisfaction. That is where we can find real satisfaction. Then text 56 and 57 goes on explaining that one who is not disturbed his mind even amidst the threefold misery or elated when there is happiness, one who is free from attachment, fear and anger is called the sage of steady mind. So here is the answer to Arjuna's question, that Krishna is saying that when a person who is self-realized or a sthitadhi, a sage of steady mind is a person who, even when there is threefold miseries, they are not disturbed by that. When there is happiness, they don't jump up and down. When there is, any kind of distress, they don't sit down in moroseness. They are free from attachment, fear and anger. They are called a state of steady mind. Now, often a question can be asked that does that mean that a devotee should never express their happiness or a devotee should never express their grief? That's not what it means. What it means is that when we express our happiness, even a devotee is always happy. A devotee is always happy because in that happiness, what happens when we have too much happiness in our life? We tend to forget Krishna. That happiness is detrimental. When we are so sad that we forget Krishna, that sadness is detrimental. So even, Arjuna, when Abhimanyu left his body, when Abhimanyu was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, after Arjuna heard the entire Bhagavad Gita, of course he started fighting, and then eventually, on one of the days, Abhimanyu was killed mercilessly. In a very treacherous way, Abhimanyu was killed. A young boy was killed. Arjuna's favorite son was killed. And when Arjuna heard about it, when Arjuna came in front of the body which was lying lifeless of Abhimanyu, Arjuna was crying. He was crying so helplessly that it was difficult to control him. Then what is the proof? Then how is Arjuna a sthitadhi? But Arjuna is a sthitadhi. Because Arjuna knew what the purpose of his life is. Arjuna never, gave up on following the instructions of Krishna. Arjuna did not question Krishna at that time. That, my dear Krishna, I did what you told me to do. I fought and look, what kind of injustice did you do to me? You took away my son. How could you? I followed what he said. But still you said. Arjuna didn't do that. He had full faith in Krishna and and in fact with much more determination, Arjuna stepped back into the battlefield the next day. And he took revenge. on the death of Abhimanyu. So Arjuna's sorrow, Arjuna's distress did not stop him from rendering his service to Krishna. Neither when Yudhishthira and Arjuna were given the kingdom, when they won the kingdom, after the battle, they became the kings, the emperors of the world. In that happiness, the Pandavas never forgot Krishna. In that happiness also, they never forgot Krishna. So that is what it is. Being a devotee does not mean that we will become emotionless. That when, say something happens to our family, it doesn't mean that, oh, now I'm a Sitaji, I cannot be, elated, or I cannot be miserable within this, I cannot be happy, I cannot be distressed. I have to be free from attachment, fear and anger. All of this is symptoms of, one who is a Sitaji. Therefore, I am doing that. Then that is wrong. That means we are not even understanding what is the actual meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is not wanting us to be emotionless, not to be heartless. But at the same time, we need to know how to be how to have a heart that is full of emotion, but at the same time, having a complete attachment and faith to Krishna. That is what it is. That even amidst, happiness, even amidst distress, that our firm faith and attachment to the lotus feet of Krishna can never be shaken. Avashya Rakshive Krishna E Vishwas. This is the firm faith that the devotee has, that yes, Krishna, I am in a distressful condition right now. I am in the most miserable condition right now. But Krishna, I have full faith in you. That you will take care of me. That is my faith. So that is what it means to be a study, to be a sage of steady mind. Text 57 says, in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Continuation of the same thing that we explained. 58 says, beautiful analogy Krishna is giving here in text 58, that just like the tortoise draws its limb within the shell, similarly, one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. But when we know that, yes, I do see a pizza place, when we pass by the pizza place, our tongue, is remembering that melting cheese. Oh, that hot melting cheese, it tastes so good. But immediately we should think that this is not being offered to Krishna. I can make the same thing at home, offer it to Krishna, and then relish the Mahaprasad. So similarly, that's how we exercise control over our senses. So similarly, that's how this example is given. That how the tortoise, as soon as it tries to touch the tortoise, it immediately withdraws its limbs inside. All of the four limbs go inside the shell. And so similarly, whenever we are, tortured sometimes by different sense objects, we must try to exercise control. That, how we can really be situated in a situation of withdrawing ourselves from these kinds of sense pleasures and try to do something which will be similar, but do it as an offering to Krishna. So that is what is pleasing to Krishna. Text 59 explains the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But seizing such engagement, by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So similarly, like the same pizza example, our tongue, is forced to try to relish that, that hot pizza that's coming from the store. Whenever we pass by a pizza store, we can think, oh, that hot cheese melting, oh wow, I want to taste it. But when we make the same thing at home, much more devotionally, with much more purer, a purified ingredients and with much more and with much more purity and laden with love, infected with Krishna's love. Krishna returns that bhoga back to us as Mahaprasad. Then by eating that melted cheese, that hot melted cheese in our mouth, we do experience that higher taste. And then whenever next time also passes, we will not want to even taste it because we know what Mahaprasad tastes like. So, similarly, Prabhupada explains this particular verse. Raso varjam raso pyasya. Param drishtva nivarsitam. This is a very, very famous verse. I'm sure Prabhupada many times quoted this verse. It says that, as young girls or young boys, when we are children, have the fantasy of playing dolls. Young boys and young girls, they play with dolls. So like playing dolls. They're playing so many different, childish games. But when we grow up, we understand that that was childish. We never want to play with dolls anymore. We never want to, because we've grown out of that phase and we've experienced something higher. Now we probably are living the dream of that doll who wanted to get married to a doctor and so many, things that we concoct while we play with dolls and, so many things to do. So all that game has now become a reality of our life. So therefore we do not at all think about those, childhood Swedish games that we would do. We don't even think about that because we have experienced a higher taste. Who likes to eat, a 3-day-old rotten roti if you have the choice of eating a soft, fresh, delicious gulab jamun? Which one will we choose to eat? A rotten roti from 3 days old or a fresh, juicy, delicious gulab jamun? We naturally go for the gulab jamun because we know the taste that of the gulab jamun, that how tasty, how delicious that gulab jamun will be. Because we have experienced that higher taste. So similarly, when we get the higher taste of Krishna Prema, when we can relish services done in the association of devotees, when we can relish the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, at that time, we will give up any kind of lower sense enjoyment that we think can ever bring pleasure to us. We will automatically give it up. And the 60th verse is, the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So Krishna is saying here in text 60 that it is no doubt that the senses are very strong. There is no doubt about that. That they forcibly carry the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is, endeavoring to control them. It is impossible to do that. But it is possible when we ask for help from Krishna. That is what is revealed in the next few verses that we will read next week onwards. But so Krishna is bringing out problems, but he is giving the solutions as well. So this is how we can understand the beauty of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, that they are so amazingly beautiful that Krishna is giving us all, possible scenarios and possible explanations of how we can get deviated, but how we can stop ourselves from getting deviated. So that is the beauty of Krishna and his teachings. So we will end here. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Recommend Guru Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class. So many points, Mataji. All are important points. Oh, Mataji, it is akarma, vikarma, and also about like how to be Vaishnava. Oh, Mataji, how higher taste and lower taste. So many points, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class, Mataji. And one point I really like among all that, like, is like whatever we do, we should think that our guru is satisfied or not before we do. That one is also a very nice point, Mataji. And the thing of that fox, how it is thinking that like we are also dressed up like especially for my sake, I feel like dressed up like Vaishnava, but inside the qualities are like very bad. And yeah, Mataji, those points are really, really very good, Mataji. Such a beautiful class. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anybody having any question? Mataji, we have online viewers also on YouTube,
Okay.
and we have some in the FCC also. Is there anybody having any question or comment for Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I mean, some things are a little difficult for me to follow, but yeah, I'll take it one step at a time. Mataji, so you were talking about how everything that we do should be offered to Krishna. So, especially with food. So, my question is, how do we only eat food that's offered to Krishna? Do we not eat outside at all?
Well, see, the thing is that when we are in our work life, sometimes it is important for us to go out with our colleagues, in parties and things like that, or just a luncheon with the colleagues. These are unavoidable situations which we should, try to go to. Otherwise, we will be, not so well received in our work forum. So if it is related to work, we should definitely go. And when we go there, try to at least order something, vegetarian, stick to the rules. And before eating it, just offer to Krishna, by reciting the mantras, and then just eat that. So that is also prasad. And on a regular basis, sometimes with family, especially when we have children who like to eat out. So there is nothing wrong eating at a vegetarian place. There's nothing wrong in eating out. But when we go to eat out also, for the sake of family, we should try to restrict it as much as possible. Of course, for those of us who are initiated, unless it is a dire necessity, we don't do it. We avoid to eat out. But like say for example, if you're going on a tour or a travel, that we are not able to get any other, form of food, then yes, we do make an exception. But generally, day-to-day life, we try to avoid. And of course, I know there are some devotees for the sake of children, and also just sometimes, if there's no children involved, even sometimes, husband and wife can also go out just for a change. But even when we are going out, just be mindful that, whatever we are eating outside also, make sure that it is within the, our restrictions, and offer it even over there, and then eat. So at least, you're trying to purify as much as we can. It is said that when we eat outside, then if we pay for that food, we don't get any karma. There's no karma that is involved. It is just our consciousness that gets affected, because the consciousness of the cook gets transferred into the food. Whoever is the cook, whatever consciousness they are cooking in, that consciousness gets transferred into the food that they are preparing. So when we are paying, we are making a payment at the restaurant whenever we are eating. So that does not involve any karma, but the consciousness transfer does happen. We do intake that, that Vishayi consciousness, the materialistic consciousness. We do inherit that. So in order to free ourselves from that consciousness, we should try as much as we can to offer that particular food, and to also see that how we can try to avoid it as much as possible, because it's definitely not advantageous to our spirituality, that we should try to stick to prasad, that is the guideline. But yes, exceptions can be there within the guided premises, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Indu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I have one question. Mataji, last class you were telling, like, if you are not enthusiasm, or if you are not like real good devotee, act like a devotee. But here in this fox case, it's we are telling, like, you'll burst one day. So how do I compare both of it, Mataji?
Sorry, can you just repeat that last part?
In the fox story, when you were telling about the fox story, it was acting, right? I mean, it was acting, and you were telling it will burst one day, everything. I mean, you should not act also like that, right? But in the previous section, we also, Prabhupada also says, like, if you don't know how to be good, or if you don't know how to become nice person, at least act, at least be enthusiasm acting like that. So here it's so both the question. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much, Vinaya. Very, very beautiful question. Very beautiful question. See, the difference is in the intent. The fox wanted to cheat his way out by cheating the other animals, by saying that, look, I am a different animal. I am a unique animal. Therefore, I deserve to be king. His mentality, the fox's mentality, was that I want to cheat you people because I want to become the leader of all of you. Now, if that is our mentality, when we are, Prabhupada said that, even if you are not feeling enthusiastic, act enthusiastic. So there is a difference. When we are acting enthusiastic, we are, when we come in front of Krishna, we are not like, backboneless and very, like that we go in front of Krishna, and Krishna will also become in front of us. Will we like that? No. We don't, like if we go to Krishna and say, okay, by the way, another Sunday has come. Now I have to go again to the temple. I have to again go. It's so bad. Now imagine if Krishna also thinks like that about us. Oh, again this person will come in front of me. Again this person will take out his list from his back pocket and start telling me, give me this, give me this, give me this. I'm fed up of this person. If Krishna starts thinking like this, then where are we going to go? Right? So, even if so Prabhupada said that even if you're not feeling enthusiastic, you must act enthusiastic. That yes, I want to go to the temple. I want to show to you, Krishna, that I am coming to the temple to love you. To show you that I love you. I may not be loving you from my heart today, but I want to love you from my heart. The difference is in the intent. I am not doing a false enthusiasm or showing false enthusiasm. If I'm doing that false enthusiasm, dancing crazily or, speaking very beautifully, but internally I'm just having this mood that, oh, I want people to glorify me. Oh, I want to dance like this so that people will see how great a devotee I am. If that is the intent, we will not get any kind of reaction from Krishna. Mercy coming from Krishna will be stopped. But if our intent is that, Krishna, I want to attract your mercy. For that, if I have to, act, although I'm not feeling enthusiastic, like today I'm having a lot of pain in my body, oh Krishna, but still I will come and do some service to you. I will feel enthusiastic for you, Krishna. I will do that for you. If that is the intent, Krishna will reciprocate with that. So the difference is in the intent with which we are doing. Are we doing it to cheat others? Are we doing it to show off to others? Or are we doing it to really attract Krishna's mercy? That is the question that we must try to ask ourselves. That if we are trying to do show off to others, then it is a pathetic condition that we are in. If we are trying to cheat others, it's the worst kind of condition that we can ever be in. But if we are really trying to just attract the mercy of Krishna upon us, then that is the best situation we can be in. So does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji, very nicely answered, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for a very nice, clear answer, Mataji.
Thank you for a very, very beautiful question.
Thank you, Mataji. Is there anybody having any question or comment for Mataji? Okay, if there are no more questions or comments, we'd like to end the call here, offering obeisances to all Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Kalasudha Mataji. We are very grateful to you for the beautiful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you.